From within the application, we can select one out of 4 possible screen navigation styles. The style of navigation is configured depending on the platform. For example, for an iPad running iOS 7, we can have one style, another style for previous versions of the iPad, and a different style for the iPhone, which may or may not be the same for Android phones. So, there are 4 navigation styles: split, flip, slide, and cascade. All of these styles, or some of them, will be available depending on the screen and platform size. For example, even though split will not be available for smartphones, it'll be the default option for tablets. The split style shows list and detail information in a split screen view. The default style for the iPhone will be flip. That is to say, every layout invoked will take the entire screen area of the device. In the example, the sessions list is displayed, and if one is selected, it overlaps with the others, and we can return to the previous one. Therefore, split and flip are the default navigation styles. Let's see them in more detail and then move on to the other 2 styles, slide and cascade. This image shows an example of the iPad in landscape orientation, and the same screen in portrait orientation. The split navigation style means that the screen will be split in landscape orientation. Meanwhile, in portrait orientation, the screen to the left will be hidden, and the user will be able to show it by clicking on the link in the upper left corner, or by swiping from left to right. The main feature of this navigation style is that all work with lists will be opened in the left frame, and details will be opened in the larger form on the right. The last one is known as content. These default options can be changed using the call options properties of object calls, as we will see in another video. As we've said before, in smartphones, the default navigation style will be flip, which means that a single layout will always be displayed on screen. Thus, if the sessions list is invoked, it'll take the entire screen space. If you want to invoke the detail from there, it's entirely displayed in the screen. To see the list, we can use the back button in the upper left corner, or a swipe gesture from left to right. Even though all platforms will accept the flip navigation style, not all of them will accept the split option, which will not be valid for smartphones. The slide navigation style makes it possible to keep the main menu always available, in our case a dashboard, as a sliding window that can also be accessed with a button, so as to avoid clicking back several times in order to select another branch of the invocation tree. Therefore, if from the dashboard we invoke Work with Sessions, and from there we invoke a session's detail, from here we can select one speaker to see his or her details. Now, to see restaurants for example, we don't need to click on back until we return to the main menu, because it's always available with one click. This style is supported in tablets and smartphones. Note that in GeneXus, for the any Android platform, that is to say, for any Android device, the default value is available, and we know that it is flip for phones. If we run it in the emulator, we can see that the dashboard is displayed in full screen, and if we select one option, it's also loaded in full screen. Since we're using a phone emulator, we select the Android phone platform and change the default navigation style value to slide, F5. Note that the first option in our menu is opened, Sessions, but if we select this option at the top, we get the main menu as we said before, and we can switch options and keep navigating the various options. And if we want to select another tree branch by swiping to the right, we'll be able to choose restaurants. The Cascade style is supported in both tablets and smartphones. The main menu is displayed on the left. The current panel is displayed on the right. And the one that called it is displayed in the middle. In the example, we see that the dashboard was used to call the sessions list, and that the sessions list was used to call a sessions detail. If later on from this detail we drill down one level, for example, by tapping on one sticker in the grid, a fourth area is open on the right with this information. If from there another object is called starting from level 3 onwards, it'll be displayed in this screen, the fourth one, taking the invocation stack into account. This is to say, the new screens opened will incorporate links to return to the caller until the stack corresponding to this frame is empty. This will be the case where this screen was invoked by this other screen, when another element is selected from the main menu. The Cascade navigation panels are reset. That is to say, panels 3 and 4 are deleted, the second panel takes the remaining screen area, and then it starts over again. With this slide navigation style, when the application is opened, it loads the screen corresponding to the first item of the main menu. In this case, only when the slide navigation style is selected, we want another screen to open, for example, a welcome screen. How would we do this? More specifically, instead of calling the Work With Devices session, we want to call a panel for smart devices that's called Welcome and has one image. The answer is to program within the dashboard the slide.start event, and in this event, invoke the desired panel for smart devices. So we press F5. And when we run the application, we can see that the panel is now opened. Note that the navigation style configured for the iPad running on iOS 7 is the default. As we said, it is split. Therefore, when we open the application in an iPad for the first time, in landscape orientation, what will be displayed in the screen to the right? If we run our application, we can see that the same welcome panel is displayed. But why is that? This invocation should only be made when the navigation style is slide. We find the explanation by looking at all the events we've defined. Previously, we'd added the split start event. Leaving this composite command aside for the moment, note that, in addition to calling the welcome panel, we're indicating that we want it to open in the screen to the right. We'll return to this in another video. In general, in order to make various actions after opening the application's main object, according to the platform's navigation style, we have the new start events that are related to navigations. In this way, we have slide.start, split.start, cascade.start, flip.start, and tabs.start, which are only valid in the main object of the application. Tabs is used when the dashboard is shown as tabs, and not as a table, which is the default option for Android phones, or as a list, which is the default option for iPads. In this video, we've seen how to customize the application's navigation style according to the platform. Now we have one last design topic to discuss: how to achieve different transitions between the screens of invoked objects.